this is what I propose to do in this tutorial. I want to find a certain area within this event that I know I will be using in my final video. But I don't want to simply trim it, because doing that will mean I'm not really removing the poor quality audio that I want to substitute with the studio recording. So my proposal is to find the section that I want to use. I'll add some markers to it, like we did in the previous tutorials where we added the marker where the guitar solo kicked in. Well, by adding another 2 markers, one to begin a new section that I know I would like to use, and one as an out marker so that we can create a ranged area of a short section that, as I say, I know I want to use later in our finished video. So my next step would be to simply play this event so that I can ascertain which part of it, which range, I want to use. So I'll do that now. I'll hit play. Okay, so I know now that the section I want to use precedes where we've got that marker there, marker number 1, indicated as solo start. So I'm going to add another couple of markers, and I'll be using the shortcut. I'm just going to hit the letter M, the key M, on my keyboard as we're playing it through, so that I will get a new marker, marker number 2, for my in point, and my out point will be marker number 3. Right, let me try this once more. I'll click on play again just so I can evaluate fairly closely where my new ranged area is going to be. Okay, now I know it's roughly around about here where I want to begin. So I'm going to play it through once more, but as I say, this time I'm going to hit the M key on my keyboard, and that will automatically generate a marker, and I'm going to make that my in point for my ranged area, and then I'm going to hit the M again where my out point should be. So let me click play once more. Here we go. Okay, so there you can see I've got 2 new markers indicated as number 2 and number 3. Now you remember I could add some text to both of these markers should I want to. I don't want to, just for this example. But what I do want to do is create a ranged area so that when I export this out in a moment, I will be informing Vegas to just export the area that I have indicated. So by left clicking here and dragging over to marker number 3, and then once again here and dragging over to marker number 2, I've now created that area, this ranged area. And this is the section that I want to use in my finished video. So what I need to do is render this out as a new file. So remember how we do this? Come up to File and then drop down here to where it says Render As. Now the important section for me is down here, Render Options. We have seen this dialog box before in the previous tutorials, but this checkbox here where it says Render Loop Region Only, I want to make sure that that is checked. I want to create a new file just for that region I've created. I would choose a suitable output format. Now I'm going to go for PAL-DV widescreen. I'll give it a better name, so I'll come up here to the name field and I'll call this Guitar Section 1, and I'll click on Browse so that I can find a suitable folder, and I'm going to go for this one, this video folder, where I know I can find this soon to be rendered new file. And I'll hit save. Okay, now we get taken back to our render as dialog box. Just make sure all your settings are as they were, and then come down and click on render. And you'll remember this can take a few moments to complete, dependent on how long the ranged area is. Now this is going to automatically close down once it's finished, unlike previously, and that's because that checkbox there, close this dialog box when rendering completes, is checked. Okay, and once done, well, that dialog box of course closes down. That file has now been saved on my hard drive in that particular folder that we designated. So really what I can now do is create a brand new project that I would possibly call Final Version or something like that. Let me just click on this button to create the new project. At the moment it's called Untitled. We could rectify this later. I want to bring into my new project that video file that we've just rendered of just that small section. So let me go over to the Explorer tab. I'll just navigate my way through. I know it's in this Josh folder, and remember I placed it in that video folder there. And there it is down at the bottom. Let me just left click on here to expand so we can see it better. Yes, there it is, guitar section number 1. Now you'll remember our original video was shot using the NTSC format, whereas what we've just rendered out as a new clip, or a new event, well, I changed this, didn't I, to PAL widescreen. And so therefore, if I double click on this new file, I'm going to see this warning box first of all, asking me, do I want to set my project video settings to match this particular media? Well, I do, so I'll click on yes. Consequently, from this point on, this project, our final project, now takes on the PAL widescreen format. And there you go. There it is down on our timeline. And we only see that small section that we rendered out with not its original audio, the poor quality audio. Instead, we get the embedded new studio section. Let me come down here and click on here to zoom in a few times. Perhaps I've gone too far. I'll step back one and then I'll just simply use the gripper here to refocus the timeline a little bit better. Okay, and that's it. All I need to do now, if I wanted to check this, is click on play. Great stuff. That means I've now got a small section that I know I want to use as part of my building blocks for my final video. And what I would tend to do is go through this process, finding the sections that I do want to use, and I might do this 30, 40, 50 times, however many it takes, to find all the separate events that I want to use. And then, of course, I now find it easier to concentrate on the visuals because I'm not distracted by the poor quality audio from the original clip.